Good afternoon. So I'm Kristen Hayward. I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister responsible for the Wildfire Service with the Department of Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures. I'll start by giving a bit of an update on fire activity in the province. There are 120 active fires burning in the province today. The total number of fires to date is 331, and the 20-year average for the state is 243. Fire danger remains high to very high in eastern and northern areas, with some areas of extreme fire danger. Western and central areas have low fire danger. So far, only minor amounts of precipitation have fallen in fire areas. We're seeing generally less than 1 millimeter as of this morning. We have seen higher amounts in the areas of Cross Lake, Pimicikamak, and Norway House, and are still expecting some showers in northern areas today, with a minor risk of thunderstorms from Gillam over to Flin Flon. We had hot, dry conditions over the weekend and saw increased fire behavior on nearly all fires. Based on recent behavior and today's conditions, we're closely monitoring fires in the vicinity of Laurie River Generating Station, Kettle Rapids Dam, Garden Hill, Leaf Rapids, and Snow Lake. Despite very smoky conditions over the weekend that limited our ability for aerial suppression with water bombers and helicopters, crews have made good progress on North 61 near Thompson, North 5 and North 130 near Cross Lake and the Norway House Ferry, North 10 at Split Lake to Tasquiat Cree Nation, and West 17 and 28 near Flin Flon, Baker's Narrows, Sheridan, Cold Lake area. On fire East 61 over near Bird River, Nopaming, and other areas along the eastern side of the province now, action has been limited due to smoke for a few days now, so the focus has been on setup and maintenance of value protection equipment where needed. We also continue to monitor and assess the potential risk for fires in the vicinity of NCN and the Island Lakes area, particularly the communities of St. Therese Point and Wasagamak. The risk to those communities from these fires has not changed in the past few days and remains relatively low at this time. There have been no change to out-of-province resources since last week, and I think I'll leave things there today and pass it to Christine.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm Christine Stevens. I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister responsible for the Manitoba Emergency Management Organization. Currently, there are 19 states of local emergency in Manitoba, and 9 communities are evacuated due to wildfire threat, with no new evacuations in the past 24 hours. At this time, over 13,000 Manitobans remain evacuated. And as of this morning, we currently occupy close to 2,500 hotel rooms, which is up from up by 145 hotel rooms since Thursday. Currently, 840 shelter beds are being utilized. And I'll leave it there for now. Thank you.
I wanted to ask if you could expand on Thompson. I had a conversation with the mayor earlier just about how there were 3 new fires there last night, just how the situation is in Thompson and what is the possibility that the province might have to evacuate Thompson?
So the main fire of concern for Thompson is North 61, so that original fire there. We've been making really good progress with crews working up the south and west sides of that fire, which are the areas where primarily it could escape and threaten Thompson. So we're pretty confident in the control that we've had there. It's been tested a number of times and has held. We do continue to pick up lightning fires across the north. Most of those are not a concern. We also have rain moving into the Thompson area, hopefully today and into tomorrow. So that should help to keep fire activity pretty low. We are not concerned for Thompson at this time.
Are there any concerns about fires potentially impacting Highway 6?
At this time, no. The main fire that we've been watching there has been North 5 as it moved towards Waboden, and that one has not been creeping any further to Highway 6.
And in terms of the smoke around the province, is that something that's interfering with the firefighters' ability to fight the fire? Thompson mentioned they lost access to their airport last night because of the smoke. Is that a concern right now?
Yeah, definitely when there's heavy smoke, it makes it difficult for our water bombers to take off or land. They need good visibility to safely conduct their operations. It's also an issue sometimes for the helicopters, depending on how low that smoke is. So we've had challenges getting crews out to areas of the fire where we would need access through helicopter, as well as just being able to bucket using a helicopter. It has been limited by smoke as well sometimes. So definitely the smoky conditions are impacting our ability to action from the air specifically. But the good thing too is that sometimes very smoky conditions also lessen fire behavior, so we don't see the fires as active those days either.
Could you expand on the Leaf Rapids situation? How close is the fire to the community?
The last report I heard was that Fire North 113 was about 2 kilometers from Leaf Rapids as of yesterday's activity. I'll just caution that that was based on imagery, and we haven't been able to fly as of my update this morning to see exactly how close. It's definitely moved closer to Leaf Rapids. Leaf Rapids is kind of surrounded by fires. If you look on our fire view map online, you'll be able to see there's a number of fires kind of on all sides of the community. So we're particularly concerned about that North 113 fire today, given we have northwest winds and a lot of good fuel in front of that fire towards the town. I will just emphasize as well that the town, we do have a fire guard built around the town, as well as Office of the Fire Commissioner and Manitoba Fire Service have engines in town ready to go should any fire incur into the community.
I also had a question about a specific situation that's happening to some high-risk people, or is believed to be happening. Some folks in Garden Hill, from Garden Hill, who are in Steinbach and who require dialysis. We've heard that some are having trouble accessing transportation to medical appointments, and some haven't gotten meals. We've heard that they've been told that the Red Cross is not responsible for this and that it might be the province through a different agency. Could you maybe expand on what's happening there?
I'm not aware of that specific example. There are times when individuals make their own hotel accommodation arrangements. So, in order for us to ensure that supports are provided, we need to make sure that we're aware of where people are so that that can be coordinated. So if you have specific examples, maybe we could follow up offline and we'll just look into that further.
For a case like this, who would be responsible for meals?
It's not a simple answer. There's a number of jurisdictions and players that become involved. So again, I'd have to know more detail before I could speak to it specifically.
Generally, just based on the current short-term forecasts and what you're expecting in the next, or I guess I should ask, what are you expecting in the next few days in terms of fire activity and some of those more precarious situations or situations where fires are closer to communities?
Well, it kind of depends on what's going to happen with the precipitation. We have seen very scattered precipitation. So if we don't get the precipitation, we expect fire activity to continue to remain fairly active on those fires where it has been in recent days. The next, likelihood of precipitation after today and tomorrow wouldn't be till Friday. So that period in between would be a potential for things to dry out and start becoming more active again. So we're hoping that the rain is going to help the situation, but it's just too tough to tell. There's so many areas with fire right now that it might help us out in one area, but not in another. And until it happens, we just don't know.
How much rain do you need to actually make a significant difference?
About 5 times more than we're probably going to get. So, upwards of 50 millimeters would be really nice on some of these areas. So if we're looking maybe 5 to 10, still certainly going to buy us a couple more days to make some good progress. So hopefully at least that comes to fruition.
And could you just specify which communities you're most concerned about if there is no rain? 50 millimeters sounds stretched right now. Like, let's say it doesn't reach that point. What communities are you most concerned about at the moment?
So today it would be Leaf Rapids, just based on wind and what the fires have been doing there. Snow Lake isn't out of the woods either yet, was pretty active yesterday as well. So depending how things go there today, there could be some movement on that fire. And then in terms of communities, Garden Hill is still something, just given the proximity of the fire to the community, that we're keeping a close eye on. So I'd say those were probably the primary 3 areas.
Are there other communities that you're in touch with in terms of evacuating? I just noticed Nelson House is is close to some of those fires. Could they potentially be affected here?
I know we're in really close contact with Nelson House, and they're getting good information about the actual threat to the community. Christine may be able to speak to any discussions that are happening with them on pre-planning, but I can say that from a fire risk perspective, the growth we've been seeing on the fires near their community has been more to the west. We'd really need to see like significant growth to the south to threaten the community. There was some concern with a fire on the road into Nelson House, but that one was dealt with over the weekend and does not pose a threat to the community any longer. So they're looking okay at this point.
Yeah, and I do know, excuse me, that Nelson House was proactively evacuating P1 evacuees over the past few weeks. So there's been good coordination and contact and pre-planning there.
Any other questions?
Maybe just a bit of an elaboration for Tatasqueyak Cree Nation. Are folks there out because of the wildfires in addition to the issues with the water treatment plant, or what's happening there?
So I can speak to the fire aspect first, maybe. Fire North 10 definitely had impact within the community. That caused some structure loss a while back. We're still working on putting out hotspots in the community, but it's looking really good in the community now. What we're waiting to do is get a scan done to ensure that it is as cool as we think it is before we signal that it would be safe for residents to come back. It's definitely getting close, making some good progress, but until we have that information, we don't want to send people back prematurely.
My understanding is the community is waiting to see how those scans come back to make decisions on repatriation.
Regarding the number of evacuees who are staying in shelter beds right now, how many facilities are currently in use, or which facilities are currently in use with shelter beds?
So 4 facilities are currently in use. The RBC Convention Center, the Leela Sports Complex, Billy Mosienko Arena, and the U of W Rec Complex.
Is there someone on Zoom?
No.
No Zoom? Okay.
No. Aren't any other questions? We'll wrap it up. Great, thank you.